everybody, and welcome to the Android Central Podcast. It's episode number 119 for Thursdays. It's December 13th, 2012. That's how we say December. I'm Phil Nickinson, your host for the show, editor of AndroidCentral.com, and I gotta admit, we're halfway through the December, and I'm done working. I'm done. Can't make me do. I'm gonna do the podcast this week. I might do it next week, but I'm done. I need a vacation. How about you guys? Anybody? Welcome to the show. One of the last shows of the year, probably. Might do one or two more. If it's your first time, welcome. We do this live on Thursday nights and play it back in recorded fashion later. Usually have a couple guys from the site here, and tonight we have Jerry Hildenbrand.
Howdy, howdy, howdy.
And from England, we have Alex Doby.
Hey, everyone.
And I have a nice glass of white that I'm polishing off. What's going on, guys? It's been kind of a busy day. I'm tired.
Yep, lots of little busy work going on. Keeps us on our toes.
No. I think you were totally downplaying the most important news of the week, and that is I have the Samsung Muse Pebble thing right here. This is it. No? Nothing?
I don't know, man.
Oh. We'll talk about that.
It's a memory stick with music controls.
Oh, see, you just spoiled it. Well, what about this?
Does it take your blood sugar?
I have a Nexus 4 bumper.
So do I.
I think you should put the Nexus 4 bumper in the same box with that Muse.
Oh. I have...
Probably.
To find other fun stuff on my desk. I have a Windows phone. I show that off every week. I think the bumper were useful.
That's right. I got yelled at for shaking my head when you were going on about the Windows phone last week. So if you show it, I'm going to smile and stick my thumb up and say, Windows phone, awesome.
Who's complaining?
A couple people.
Oh.
Windows fans.
Yeah. I love Windows phones. I just hate the crap that goes along with them. Anyway, we're going to talk Android tonight. What do you guys want to start with? We got a whole lot going on. Do you want to talk about the Muse and get it over with?
Let's talk about the Muse and get it over with.
All right, let's talk about the Muse and get it over with. Way back in May, and Alex and I were talking about this afternoon, I didn't even remember. We're at Earl's Court in London, and Alex, let's try to set the scene. So it's a big kind of, not convention center, but it's not an arena. Although they did
it's kind of just a general event venue.
Right.
Concerts and stuff there. Yeah. So big venue, big presentation up on the stage, and they were just firing information at us for about 2 hours. All these features that we now know on the Galaxy S3 and we're all pretty familiar with, but at the time it was a load of new stuff, and there was a lot that got lost along there. A lot of that was accessories. So we had the what was called the S Pebble at the time. It was introduced very, very briefly as this kind of music player type thing that apparently synced with your phone, and then that was kind of brushed aside, and they moved on to the next thing.
Well, remember how they were showing it all to us? They had they called them pods set up like backstage, and they were these glass enclosures, like a zoo almost, and just people packed in there. I went into one, and it was painful.
We lost you in there about 3 or 4 times.
Yeah, so I don't even remember.
A lot of people, big area.
And now we have it. So it got officially announced last week, and it's this tiny little MP3 player that, not very big. It's round like a Pebble. It's designed just like a Pebble. I kind of like that, actually. It's done in the same style as the Galaxy S3, same, brushed whatever, capacitive buttons. It's a little 4 gigabyte MP3 player. And the one cool thing about it is, well, 2 things for me. One is you can just plug it in to a computer and it acts like mass storage. So you just drag your music over. That's the way I like it. That's the way I love to, put music on things. But it will also connect to a Samsung Galaxy S3 and presumably other Samsung phones. I got it to work on a rooted Galaxy Nexus because it serves as mass storage, right, Jerry? It can be a little finicky on device.
Yeah.
But it can pull down music from the phone onto the Pebble. And that's not the only way it plays music. It's not the only way it gets it, but it works.
My biggest
how often are you going to need that?
One at a time.
4 gigabytes?
No, how often are you going to actually want to? So say you've got something set up to sync music to your phone, you then got to sync to the Pebble. That just seems like a load of hassle to me. But
no, definitely. That's not the prime way, I think, to get music onto it. People are complaining because it's only 4 gigabytes, but here's the thing. it's only 4 gigabytes. I'm not quite sure how it decides to play back the music in what order. I think it's by file name, and I just haven't bothered checking. So, I mean, with no display on this, no way to tell, albums, or I don't even think it will hop by album. I think it just plays. I mean, you don't want more than that because you have no way to sort through, right?
Is there at least like a shuffle button or something? So
yeah, there's a shuffle button or a play button. Though all my music's been shuffling around anyway, so I haven't quite figured. I mean, honestly, I don't care. It's cheap, it's small, it's relatively easy to put music on, and for $50, and less if you managed to get a coupon code. I know some of the half off ones died this week, but not bad. And it makes sense to me because Samsung has invested God knows how much money into the, especially in the 2012. Right? Anybody see there was that 12-12-12 benefit concert for Hurricane Sandy last night in New York, and I'm watching it, and they go to the celebrity operators. They always have musicians or actors or whoever taking phone calls, and I see them, and like they look like they're on cell phones. I was like, oh God, are they? Wait a minute, those are all big ass Samsung Galaxy Note 2s. Oh, there's a Samsung logo in the background, and sure enough, it was like the Samsung operator line or whatever. So, I mean, they sponsored it. I get that it's a donation, and I'm glad Samsung gave money. I do not want to take away from that at all. But it's like, really? And I get that I'm a little overly sensitive to this sort of thing because this is what we do for a living. But it's like, just 5 minutes. I want to be away from the Samsung marketing machine. And I'm glad they gave money to it. I really am. It's just, And they all look so happy with their Note 2s, and they had them on little docks so that you could see it as you're watching. So anyway, I mean, they've put all this money into it, and here's just one more cool little accessory to go with it that probably didn't cost them all that much to make. It's not going to affect their bottom line, and it's just a neat little thing to have, and nobody else has done this, and I think that's cool.
You think they took too long with it? Because, I mean, we've had this before with a lot of phones where we get all these accessories at launch. It takes 6 months for them to arrive. I got to admit, when I first saw this thing, I kind of expected that this would never see release. What do you guys think?
Just give them away with the phone.
Yeah.
Bingo. They should come in the box with the phone, and then more people will see them, and then more people will be willing to go out and buy them. And they should be in every glass jewel case at every Walmart from coast to coast for X amount of dollars. Samsung could really move them regardless of what tech experts think of them.
And honestly, if you're in Walmart and you see some little, $25, $50 MP3 player, are you going to buy one that says Samsung for that price, or are you going to buy some name that you've never heard of?
Yeah. I mean,
and you don't even need an S3 or any other phone to use it with, do you? If you can just plug it in as USB storage.
You don't need a phone at all. It's funny that I kept saying this as I was writing it up, and I was telling Jerry, it's like, I'm having fun reviewing this. I don't know if probably just because it's different, but I wrote way more about it than we should have. I spent more time on the video than I should have. I mean, it's not a bad little thing, and I don't know why it caught my interest. Probably just because it's different. It's a novelty. It's kitsch.
Well, I mean, to me, that's interesting. You see so much of this crap from every vendor out there. It just goes across your desk. When you come across something that catches your eye enough to get you to write 3,000 words when 50 words would have sufficed, that means that I'm a little bit interested in it.
And we've had a few other things like that, like the HTC Media Stick thing. It's not perfect. It's a little expensive for what it does, but it's not bad, right? I mean, this is the one you plug into your car, assuming it actually fits in your car, and that's a big problem everyone's had. And then it runs Bluetooth from your phone to this straight into the aux port of your car. I mean, it's a good idea. It's not perfect. It's not 100%. Media Link was another one. The Q was another one. And the Q was kind of grossly overpriced for what it did. I don't mind saying that now, but although you can get it for like $200 on eBay, which is a little more stomachable. I don't know. I mean, it's cool stuff. I like seeing cool stuff like this.
Yep.
And we're about to see a whole bunch more in like 3 weeks at CES.
Yeah,
I'm sure.
It's a little insane.
I'm trying to decide what the coolest thing Android is going to be slapped onto. We're going to see at CES.
Well, let's talk
cleaning robot.
Cleaning robot. Actually, I've seen that. LG has one.
Oh, they do. Actually, I think Samsung had something.
I'm sure Samsung
at IFA that synced with an S3 that was a cleaning robot.
Well, I'm telling you guys, there's brands that most people here wouldn't recognize, but they create little project boards. And all of these brands are starting to build systems that Android will just install right onto. Android is the new embedded Linux. It comes complete with a application framework and all your libraries for input output. We are going to see Android in everything, whether or not it's going to say it has Android on it, but that's going to happen very shortly.
Even more than that, it's the new Windows CE.
Yep.
And for those of you who've been around a long time, that's Windows Mobile for non-mobile devices, right? You know where I still see it is I fly Delta because it's, when you fly this much, it's better just to pick one airline. And their little credit card things on board have all been Windows CE for as long as I can remember. And I was watching, was it an American Airlines video this week, I think, where they were using an Android device. I think it was a Galaxy S2, maybe. I forget which one, but it was an Android device. It was good to see, especially as Delta's been using Windows CE for so long. So, Jerry's right. This is the new embedded Linux. It's the new embedded Windows.
Yep.
And that's the way it's meant to be. So
exactly. Imagine the next Blu-ray player you buy, you plug it in and your Samsung or your LG logo comes up. And one of the options is to go to Google Play.
Yep.
Yeah.
That sure beats the LG App Store.
Or anybody else's for that matter.
Right. I'm not singling you out, LG. I love you.
Yeah, well, Verizon shut down their app store, and it's like I didn't even bother doing a story on it because I just didn't care. Didn't care when it was there. Didn't care when it died. So that kind of actually moves us into the next thing I wanted to talk about. And it's funny, I don't often run into devices that I just look at, and I'm like, I don't know what to write. I don't know what to say. I don't know how to approach this. I had the Samsung Galaxy camera sitting on my desk for like 3 weeks, and I just keep poking at it. And I pick it up, and I'd look at it. The thing is like one giant display. It looks like this big black slab on one side. Yeah, Alex has it there. Turn it around, and it's a camera. And I just don't get it. Alex, talk about it.
I like this. I like it a lot. I think there's definitely a future in this kind of device, and I'm really interested to see what other manufacturers do with it over the next year. As a first attempt at this kind of form factor, it works surprisingly well. I think it's going to end up being sized up or sized down next year, though. I think the way this is right now in its current form factor is that maybe a little bit awkward. It's too big to be sort of a casual point and shoot, which is what it really is. The optics on there are point and shoot optics. And maybe there's a little bit too much. They've gone maybe overkill with the smartphone stuff on here. It's basically a Galaxy S3 strapped to the back of it with, I think, 8 gigs of storage, micro SD, SIM card, all the rest of this stuff.
Hold that one up again. I'm hold up the Nikon. And the Nikon,
it's a lot bigger. The Nikon's about the size. We have
Nikon's like a normal point and shoot.
Yeah. And really, this is as well. The pictures you get from this are point and shoot quality pictures. They're decent. They're a step beyond what you get on a smartphone. But the other problem with this, I think, is right now it is expensive for what it is. The kind of person that would want to spend $500 on a camera would want better image quality. The kind of person that would just want to do sort of casual social and sharing stuff would want maybe a cheaper camera with less crazy smartphone stuff inside it.
Right.
So I don't know. I like it as it is. I think it's a really interesting product. It's the first, well, not the first, but an example of Samsung doing something really, really kind of new and innovative with with Android. So it's I like it. I think it's going to be probably scaled up and scaled down next year. But I'm really looking forward to trying this thing out at CES next month. I think that's going to be really, really useful for the kind of stuff we do. And maybe there's sort of an untapped market for content creators with this kind of device.
So it's got a relatively stock version of TouchWiz on it, not as TouchWiz-y, I think, as a phone, right? I think I liked it a lot better than I like Nikon, which is just stock Android slapped onto a phone, which is a bad idea.
And the camera part was separate, wasn't it? It would load Android separately to it loading the camera stuff, and it would just share the storage, basically, wouldn't it? So this is fully fledged Android. They're not doing any kind of trickery. When you load up the camera, it is just an Android camera app, and you've got all the controls there. Obviously, it's a bit different to the TouchWiz phone camera app. But the stuff that goes around it is basically just TouchWiz, the same old TouchWiz that you would use on an S3. Different widgets. I think the launcher works a bit differently. You've got a constant camera button on the side. It's sort of orientation sensitive, so if you're holding it like a camera, which you would, then you can view it in landscape. But the things that really sort of come into play in TouchWiz are all the media editing stuff. So, for example, video editor, the photo editing stuff, the fact you've got Instagram on there, Dropbox is preloaded, you get free storage with that.
And is the new cool one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's not preloaded, but yeah, you can use it on there, and it works just about as well as it does on a phone.
Alex is not impressed, boys and girls.
Oh, yeah.
You couldn't tell.
I can take or leave it.
No, actually, I don't think any of us is all that impressed with Snapseed, right, Jerry? Have you tried it?
Interesting. That's where I'll go. I hate those filters that make good pictures look like crap. Hate them.
Well, it's not just filters, but it's toning as well, right? It's editing.
Yeah,
I think it has
some of the stuff in there looks really interesting.
The controls suck. The controls are horrible.
Mm-hmm.
Cannot stand them. But I mean, it's got good tools, built into it, and they can fix the rest.
Right. It's just a matter of learning how to work the tools.
So we bought this.
Blackman X in the chat. I hate to interrupt.
Yeah,
he hit it right on the head. It works great on the Nexus 10, and it does.
Yeah,
I was playing with it because they built fragments into the app, and the controls are good on a 10-inch tablet.
Okay.
On the phone is where it's a problem.
Yeah, on a more basic level, you're viewing a photo on a screen like this or on a phone, and the elements take up too much of the screen. You can't really zoom in properly to get a bigger sort of overall idea of what you're doing. It just, I think if you had a tablet tethered to a camera or something, that would work pretty well. But on a phone, I think it falls a bit flat.
So we bought this for Alex because he's been excited about it for a while. He's like, when are you going to review it? Are you done yet? Have you started? What do you think? I'm like,
yeah, well, I told you guys, coming out of IFA, this was the interesting device for me, not the Note 2. And we all kind of knew what we were getting with the Note 2. And this was the big surprise coming out of the Samsung event. So, and I wrote a thing at the time about how it kind of makes sense to have this kind of software on a point and shoot. So, yeah, I think there's a future in this kind of.
So you're going to start using this for events, right?
Yep, that's the plan.
Jared?
Go on.
I was this close to buying one. I have a loved one who could probably hear me that might be getting a camera for Christmas.
Hi, Terry.
And the only thing that kept me from just buying it is the price.
Right.
I first and foremost, the picture quality, and it's good. A lot of the pictures you've taken have impressed me, but for $500, I can get a whole lot better picture quality. I ended up getting a different camera and saving $250 and a Wi-Fi SD card. So that's where Samsung has to work on it.
I think the picture quality
is just too much.
I think the picture quality argument and the price is, it's a valid argument, but I think, it kind of is and it kind of isn't, because you're paying for the fact that you've not just got the optics in there, you've got all the smartphone stuff backing it up. You've got a Galaxy S3 strapped to the back of this thing. So I think we sort of called it at the time where we said it probably wouldn't retail for anything less than 500. But that's why I think maybe next time around they need to go with two models of this. One, just go all out on everything. Keep the high-end smartphone stuff, improve the optics, maybe charge a couple $100 more for it, and a smaller version that sort of maybe downgrades the specs a little bit, but you keep the sort of point-and-shoot optics you got in there right now and maybe charge a little less for it.
Or the other way, I would give $800 for a Micro Four Thirds Samsung Galaxy camera that's connected via Android.
I think that's the way it's going to go.
I'm worried a little bit about the durability of it, because that is a huge piece of glass on the back. And not like you can't break this Nikon, this little point-and-shoot display. Maybe it's because I've got this D700 here with a little plastic protector over the view screen, and it's a much smaller screen, and I've got an eyepiece to use, and I like using an eyepiece better. I don't know, it just scares the hell out of me.
It is quite heavy, I think. I guess a lot of that's got to do with the glass, but for a point and shoot, it's maybe a little bit lopsided, and yeah, but it looks good. It does look very nice. It's a nice looking camera.
Oh yeah, the orange one just everybody in my family said, "Ooh, that's nice."
Oh, I forgot about the colors.
Yeah, the orange one isn't out yet. I think it's just white and black at the moment. But they had the orange one at IFA. It's all shiny, reflective orange.
So here in the U.S., you can get it from AT&T on contract or off contract. It's same price, right? On or off?
Mm-hmm.
I believe, which is kind of odd, but whatever. And Verizon just announced it too, so you can get it with Verizon LTE, which is more everywhere. Cool, I guess.
Yep, like I say, I want I want to put it to the test at IFA. At CES, that's going to be the plan.
CES, yeah, no, definitely. Yeah. So if you see Alex using it at CES, poke at Alex. Just poke him in the belly like little Pillsbury Doughboy. Be like, hee hee. You got a Galaxy.
No, and then you'll make him drop the camera, and then the screen will break, like you just said. Don't tell people to poke Alex.
Don't do that.
Are you using the little wrist strap?
I'm using a different little wrist strap because the wrist strap that comes with it is ridiculously large. Like, you fit your head through it.
It was really big.
Yeah, so I'm just using the one from an old Sony camera with it right now.
Good call. I didn't even think about that, but you're totally right.
Alex, I know which Sony camera you used to use. Does the Samsung camera take better pictures than that?
Because you take some really good stuff with that.
Convince me to buy it.
No. I think if you... I mean, Jerry, you've got a DSLR of some description, haven't you?
Mm-hmm.
I think if you're not covering a lot of live events, if you're... I don't know. I think if you're already where you want to be with image quality on that, then maybe this isn't the sort of thing you need to bother with. The other side of that is we do a lot of close-ups of phones because that's what we post about. And this Galaxy camera is very, very good at macro shots. So I think performance overall is better at the kind of pictures that we take than it is in general. So maybe it's slanted a little bit towards the kind of stuff that we do. But
I think I only want it because I'm a nerd and it's Android. I'll be honest. That's probably why.
I'm actually really interested to see what the hacking community does with this thing. Yeah. Can you imagine, I'm not sure if it's been rooted yet, but if you can unlock all the crazy software behind this and a lot of the cool stuff I've done with automating things like watermarking, resizing, and uploading, you don't even need to root to do that. So you can imagine what you can do if you get this thing rooted, get some cool root apps on there.
Imagine how quickly you can get pictures of your food onto the internet.
I know, yeah.
Because that's what it's really all about.
Remap the button so when you hit the shutter, it automatically Instagrams it. It could be done.
I can't believe there's not an Instagram phone. You think? I bet we see one. I bet we see somebody build that in somehow, or some sort of
it'll be in that
Instagram
Facebook phone.
knockoff.
It'll be in that Facebook phone that's rumored to.
Yeah.
That'll be the only camera app. Calling it right now.
What do you guys think of try to keep up with it? So Facebook bought Instagram. Instagram turned off the ability to properly preview Instagrams in the Twitter timeline. Twitter then totally shut out Instagram and basically said, F you, we're done. And so now you can't see even the janky previews. All you see is a link, which kind of does nobody any good, right? And then Twitter rolls out, then earlier this week, Instagram rolls out a new filter in a new app. Not a grossly different app, but a new filter. They tweak the app a little bit. And then like the next day, Twitter comes out with, hey, we have filters too. I'm tired of it. I'm done, I think. I mean, I'm still going to use Instagram because it will feed Facebook for when I want to show stuff there. And Ashley's right in the chat room. It makes me sad. It's not good. Like, these people need to work together. Because they're doing what Twitter was doing. Twitter says, we're going to start shutting down all these third-party clients because we want people to come to our website because this is our service, even though it's our data. But it's not, right? So Twitter says, we're taking control. You're going to come to our website to do all this stuff. Our app still kind of sucks. Too bad. Come to the website. It's better there, right? And, Black Man X Facebook just got a new app. Finally, we have a native Facebook app. And it's not bad. It's much faster. It's what it should have been, a year ago. And then, this Twitter, Instagram thing, it hurts the users. And I kind of wish everybody would rise up and just be like, screw you, we're not going to use it at all.
Hey, Google Plus.
Like normal.
Google Plus is
Google Plus.
built with...
Got your filters on Google Plus.
If you install the Picasa program on your computer and Google Plus on your phone, you have the ultimate in photo sharing technology, I guess is the word I'm looking for. I think it's great. And I take a lot of pictures.
How much longer do you think before we start seeing Photosphere used in other apps now that the API is out there?
Ooh, I hope fast.
I mean, who else is going to build it in as a viewer?
It's not in the G Plus app yet, is it?
No, it's not.
It's on the web, but it's not on the app. Yeah, you would thought that would be one of the first apps to get it, but I guess not.
They would do it at the same time. I have to
wonder. I want to see Photosphere on this thing. How awesome would that be?
I would love to see PC client for Photosphere.
Mm-hmm.
I can take pictures and send them to my mom, and she says, "Why do they look like a big weird cross?" I'm like, "Well, Mom, it's Photosphere. You have to look on Google Plus." "Oh, I just want to look at it in my email." I'm like, "Okay, Mom, never mind."
I think me and Phil were talking about this when it first came out in the N4. How are you going to share these? Is there going to be an app that you download? But of course, naturally, it's Google. It's going to be through the web that you share this, and I think they're going to funnel a lot of people through Google Plus with this.
Well, but they put out an API, right? It's API only, right? But I mean, would Instagram add this? No. Will Facebook add this? No. So who's going to? I don't know.
Good question. I mean, this is a good opportunity for somebody to get some startup cash and make a Photosphere photography network that's kind of like a junior Instagram for Photosphere pictures you can share with your friends and tie into Twitter and everything else. I mean, there's nothing that does it.
The question is, besides sharing, what else can you do with it?
Well, what else can you do with any picture, though, besides share it?
Yeah.
Well, don't answer that. There's lots of horrible things you can do with a picture. But
Sphere Live wallpapers.
Yeah.
See, thinking outside the box, Phil.
I'm not saying it's a good idea. Oh, man.
If you practice, have you all been playing with Photosphere? Once you get a handle on it, you can make some great pictures. They don't suck anymore after you practice.
Yeah. Keep trying to do mine at night. That's no good.
Actually, that's my that's what I'm going to try and do at some point. Hack Photosphere on the Galaxy camera.
Yes.
See if it can be done.
In our forums, shoot Dylan a message. He'll get it on there for you.
Yeah.
Gotta give that a try.
Let's talk about the 5 million updates that are coming. So today, finally, the Evo 4G LTE started getting its Jelly Bean update. Woohoo! Everybody in those forums, you all rock. Those guys are rock stars. It'd been a long time since I'd been in there. And Jerry and I started, I'm not sure if Jerry did, but I started showing up in there last week. And they're like, "Oh, hell, Phil's here." And these poor bastards have been so patient. Quietly waiting, not complaining at all.
What?
I said that with a straight face. So they started getting Android 4.1. Is it 4.1.1, I think?
4.1.
It is for the 1X. I'm not sure. Ashley, what version is it on your phone?
So they started getting it. It's good. They're excited. I'm glad they got it. Now where the hell's 4.2?
Yeah.
Oh, man. It's good that it's coming. Now we're still waiting on it on the 1X on AT&T. So 1S hadn't gotten it yet for T-Mo, has it?
I don't think any 1S has got. Actually, I think someone was telling me the other week that the XL hasn't got it either. So there's a few still outstanding.
They're slowly getting to it. And I think it obviously took a little longer than HTC intended. It always does. So it's happening. But it's happening for the Evo, and that's good. But we're not done yet. Galaxy S3 on Verizon. Getting it tomorrow, December 14th. It's going to start. I have a feeling. It's been a while since I've done any sort of stock update on a Samsung phone. Do you guys remember if you can manually update those, like if you get a download.
What do you mean by manually?
Like we do on a Nexus or whatever, or an HTC.
No.
You should be able to ADB sideload.
Yeah.
If it's Jelly Bean.
So anyway, we'll start pushing the 14th.
Maybe not.
The problem is they're doing it in phases, like they always do. So it'll be like 2 people get it on Friday, and then nobody else will get it till Monday or whatever. So everybody's going to be stewing all week. Like, I don't have it yet. Where's it? They promised it. We don't have it. So we'll see.
Since I asked her, I want to say Ashley answered. It is 411 on the Evo. Since I begged her to check,
and that's what we're getting on the Galaxy S3 as well. 401 something. Mm-hmm. I think it's 401. I was actually running the leaked ROM that was out for a little while for the past day or so, and it's not bad. It's still TouchWiz, and I think I finally decided what bothers me about TouchWiz. It feels 2-dimensional in design, like the artwork of it, the graphics, and it's not all necessarily 2-dimensional. But it's not. You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the graphics are just kind of flat, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that the gradients and shadows that HTC uses is better, but it definitely looks different. Yeah, I'll buy that.
It's dynamic, yeah. So
what do you guys think of the because the International S3 this week is getting 412, right, which has got a load of crazy new stuff in it. Like, I think the big one is multi-window, which is on some Galaxy Note 2s. Right. So if you haven't seen that, we've got a video of it somewhere. You long press the back button, you get this menu that pops up with a bunch of apps that you can split the screen in 2, run one app on top, one app below. You can drag the dividing line around. You can zoom into one or whatever. So that to me is a really sort of exciting feature, and something that I think is going to probably keep a lot of people away from custom ROMs if this is the only way you can get this is through TouchWiz.
But now convince me again, Alex. Why do I need a split screen on a 4-inch, almost 5-inch? I mean, I'm just not feeling that.
Most of the time you don't. But when you do, it's actually really useful. I used it on the Note 2 for a while. And that one time where you want to browse the web, and someone's asking you questions about, someone sends you a link, you want to talk about the link or whatever. If you want to watch a YouTube video and browse the web or get on Gtalk or something, you can do that. It's just the same kind of, a very basic kind of true multitasking of the kind that you would get on a PC. And it's really, really cool to have that on a handheld device.
See, that's the thing. I've never tried it. So I don't think I can get my handle. I tried that Q-Slide stuff that LG put out, and that's real gimmicky too, but it did come in handy when I needed to reference something while I was texting directions.
Yeah, so Q-Slide
that's pretty cool.
Q-Slide is the video thing, right? Where you can, I think Samsung has something similar, so you get video open a window.
It's like an overlay on top of what you're
actually overlays over the top. The multi-window stuff actually splits the screen in 2, and you've got one app at the top, one app at the bottom, and you can drag between them and stuff.
Yeah, Q-Slide is like an opacity.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
And it's interesting. It was an interesting idea. I just don't know, like if I'm watching a movie on my phone, I don't know when I'm going to look down and be like, I must respond to this person. Right. I'm going to be like, screw you, I'm watching a movie. It's an interesting idea, and the application of it's not bad. The implementation is decent, but no. Sorry. Not going to do it. Man, so we talked about all the everything's updated. Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. YouTube got an update for tablets if you have a 10-inch tablet, which is good. Trying to think what else. Falcon Pro got an update. They've been fixing stuff left and right.
Yep.
Action Launcher, which is finally out now. You can go buy it. Chris Lacey has done a whole bunch of stuff with that actually since we did the announcement post, and you don't necessarily need to walk through it again. A lot of bug fixes. The widgets all work better now. The big thing is the implementation, how he had it working through the store. So that's all working better now. If you had issues with that, go give it another shot. And that's as of today. So really cool to see all these developers doing really good stuff.
Right.
People keep asking about Carbon for Android, and I know I've been kind of shy about talking about it. Actually, I kind of want to talk about it now. I have no new news to share. I haven't talked to the developer in a while. Here's, as far as I can tell, and this really has more to do with our talk about Twitter than anything else. So if you don't know what Twitter's doing with the APIs, come March 2013, they're implementing all these new API rules. Remember how Twitter works, right? It's basically a database. Think of it like a big drawer full of stuff, and that stuff is your tweets. And to access that drawer, you need a token. So if you build an application that can pull into that drawer, you need each person who's going to use that application needs a token to get into it. So Twitter is going to, for new clients, you get limited to, I think it's 100,000 tokens. If you have a current client, they'll limit you to double the amount of users that you currently have now. But there's a hard ceiling above you, right? At some point, you're going to quit growing, and that means people will quit buying your application. So there's a limit to the revenue you can get, and I get that. So go back to Carbon, and I haven't used it in months. The version I had was, an early alpha version, and it was really good, guys. I mean, and it was missing features, but damn, it was fast. Yep. As smooth as anything I've ever used. And so it wasn't done, and at some point it just quit working, right? I got tired of missing some of those features and went back to, a full client. But picture it now, right? Like, it's still not out. The developer, you remember, it was going to be put out for free because the developer lives in Dubai and you can't sell applications from Dubai still, or the UAE. And, that's bad, right? Developers need to be able to make money. But now you have these new requirements from Twitter on top of that. And for all intents and purposes, it looks like they're not going to grant anyone any exceptions to that 100,000 rule, which sucks. So if you're a developer who can't make money off an application, why are you going to do it? I don't know if it's never going to come out. I really hope it does. It was real. I hope they find a way. But that's where I stand with it. And sorry I haven't said anything for so long. I didn't have anything to say, and it's not necessarily my place to say it because it's not my app. But, for me to all you guys, that's where I stand with it. I hope it comes out. I'm not betting on it at this point. I talked about it in the Google Plus feed a couple weeks ago.
And if it doesn't come out, and I have to agree with you, Phil, I don't think we're ever going to see it under those terms. We can't jump the developer for it.
No, you really can't.
This is 100% on Google for not allowing him to make any money, and Twitter for limiting the money he could make if he was able to make money.
Yeah.
That's something they need to work on. I would think that somebody from Twitter would pick up the Carbon app and say, "Oh my God, this is amazing," and let the dude sell as many copies as he can.
They don't care. They want you to go to the website. And Twitter's spending a lot of money and effort on the mobile client, on the mobile website, and I get that. And in fact, we know, one or two of the people doing it. But oh man, it just sucks. So I don't know. Will we see it? For something like app.net, which, is a cool idea, but nobody's using it.
Right.
I don't know.
I mean, if you want to use Twitter, you just use Twitter. All these Twitter clones, I don't think is the answer. I don't have an answer.
Yeah. I think it's some bubble and it's going to really burst at some point. But damn, I mean, when, the Pope has fewer followers than Rihanna, and it's a weird time and it's a weird space, and I think it'll change at some point. It's just this different way of life now and this different way of thinking. Google Plus, I don't think we're ever going to see any other applications for it. But honestly, right now, I don't know that we need any.
Well, that's part of the problem, right? That the official Twitter app for Android now is probably one of the worst.
Yeah, it's never been good.
So, yeah. If there was a decent official option, it wouldn't be so much of an issue, but there isn't.
And Facebook came about it from the other side where their app sucked, but you didn't really have any good alternatives. I mean, there were kind of hacky ways into it, but there weren't any good, truly native Facebook apps.
There was the mobile web, but that no.
Yeah. No. I don't know. And it makes me sad because I love Twitter. I love it as a platform. I love it as a medium. I think I like Google Plus better. It's more interaction. It's quicker interaction. Quicker chance for hijacking. God, I really hate thread spammers. Hey, we didn't talk about this much last week. What do you guys think of communities now that we're a week into it?
I wish they'd stop. The invite mess.
Yes.
That's getting a little old.
I tell you, I set up the one. So I mean, it was funny last week. Jerry and I are like, should we just do one called Android? Do you think Google will care? And then I made it, and I look, and there are like 30 already just called Android. But I saw Google made an official Android one, and we have ours. I couldn't join it for the longest time. I created it under the AC. It's not a separate login. It's the Android Central Google Plus page is an offshoot from my personal page, right? But I couldn't actually join that community for like a week. So I hadn't really paid attention to it. Next thing I know, we've got, I don't know how many people have signed up or subscribed or whatever.
19,249.
19,000.
Yep.
There's a bunch in there, and it could be a very useful thing. There's a lot of things we need to talk about, off the record in private that we might want to think about doing. But number one, I can see right now is if you want to have a Twitter community, you need to have somebody there 24/7 manning that thing, because they are spam magnets.
It is a spam haven right now. Like
what it kind of strikes me is Google trying to get more activity on Google Plus. I think they're seeing people going there maybe who haven't sort of circled people in the way that a lot of people listening to this podcast, a lot of people that write for AC have, and they're seeing just old posts and nothing coming up on the feed. I think it's they're trying to get more activity in people's feeds, and this is a way to try and push that. But the other side of that is it's for people who are already on there and already part of it. It's just a load of spam.
Yeah, some of it's overt spam, just like what you would normally think of spam, and some of it's just people promoting their stuff, which is fine. But at the same time, it's like, okay, so it's a community. So is it like forums? Like, we've got forums that we've spent a lot of time and a lot of people have, dedicated their lives to, frankly.
Yep.
Like, is this just a cheap and dirty way of doing that? Is this like Google's version of Reddit, where it's a community for people who don't do vBulletin, who don't do normal forums? And not just vBulletin, The Verge has forums that are different. There are different platforms out there, right? So I don't know. I'm still trying to wrap my head around it. And for me, as like a site editor, it's like, holy crap! Here's one more thing I have to pay attention to right now.
Yep, that's the biggest thing I see out of it is, wow, this is a lot of headache for people like Phil.
Yeah, and like, why do I want to have this if we have these forums that we work really hard at to keep clean and to keep helpful, to keep spam out of, and yes, that we make money off of too, because that's how this business works, right? Like, okay. So I'm trying to figure it out. It'll be interesting to see what happens, and I think it'll grow, and I think Google will, work around it some more. But
I think there's an opportunity there if somebody wants to take the time and the effort and get in and micromanage it. They have an opportunity to grow their community huge. How that can be monetized is really the real question, because very few people will have that kind of incentive if there's nothing in it for them.
There's a reason why I think our forums are as good as they are, and why they're different from XDA or any of the other forums out there, which are all really good forums, right? I think different forums have different purposes. And that kind of Wild West thing of, this isn't like Reddit where, people are voting up and down all day long. And so, you separate the wheat from the chaff. Right now, this is just people throwing stuff against the wall and it's all sticking.
Yep.
But from the way they announced it, it seemed to be that, like, they were aiming at smaller groups, like social groups or family groups or whatever. Whereas what it's actually turned into is just,
but that's what circles are.
Massive. Yeah, but I think the way it was explained, the way it was explained in the video was more like it would be, maybe a few dozen people, not 19,000.
Sorry.
So, maybe it doesn't quite work when it's scaled up like that.
Yeah, I don't know. That's all I have to say about that. What else? Note 2 bootloader was unlocked. Adam Outler did a big video for XDA on that. Kind of cool. Glad that was done. Nexus 4 factory images have disappeared. Nobody knows why. We all think it's because of the LTE thing, which would make sense, right? If you have a radio out there that's not supposed to be out there.
It's going to be a way of stopping people just flashing the radio back when they patch it out.
Well, except for you can pull those off the phones now. Right,
sure.
Gary?
It's going to make it easier. It's going to mean that when you do it, you're not getting it from Google, and therefore Google isn't going to piss off the FCC.
Google, correct. You didn't get it from us. We have no control.
Yeah.
Right. I get that. What else? We did our best smartphones on U.S. carriers post. I mean, it's. I'm glad we did it. I'm glad, I don't mind writing it, but there's absolutely nothing surprising in there for me. Galaxy S3, One X, Nexus 4. Threw the Note 2 in there. I mean, to me, it's in a different category. Like, if you get a Note 2, it's because you want a big-ass phone like that. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's just different. What else? I put the 1S in there for Timo because I think it's a really good phone.
Agreed.
It's not bleeding edge. Still good.
It's the phone my wife uses, and I'm jealous about it lots of times.
I didn't put the Optimus G for AT&T because you can use a Nexus 4 on it, so that'd be dumb.
Right.
I did put it there on Sprint because that's probably as close as you're going to get to a Nexus 4 on Sprint, at least for a while. Anything else?
And it's a great phone. It's a great phone that's getting overshadowed, and that's a shame. I think a whole lot of people would really love that phone.
Yeah.
When you're out, you should pick it up and play with it. I got the
Korean one here. I kind of wish I had a non-Korean one, although mine has an antenna. I show this every week. I'm going to show it again.
There's got to be a way we can unlock that thing and see about doing something so you can use it on AT&T.
No, I just want to use the antenna.
Oh.
I want to watch me and TV on it.
You could play like Puss in Boots with his little sword.
I should have done video of it while I was over there because it actually looked really good on there, surprisingly so.
I think it did, didn't it?
Samsung put out a video this week that said, hey, new things are coming at CES. It's going to be a big deal. And people who should know better started writing, maybe it's the Galaxy S4. No.
I apologize. No. Sometimes, guys, I get a little, what's the word I'm looking for, Phil? Snark. They tell us that they're going to tell us something. But I can't help it. The first thing I saw when I saw that video, I'm like, "Ooh, Samsung put up a video that says, please say my name in your blog post."
Exactly.
Because that's all it was.
There was not one single thing there that says smartphone. And anyone who's been to CES and any sort of Samsung press conference at CES knows that you're going to see a lot about TVs, maybe a little bit about computers, home entertainment, maybe a washer, dryer. God, if you go to the LG press conference, is always the first thing on Monday. And it's always a lot of, here are washer and dryers, here are TVs, and the TVs are damn cool. If you guys haven't, I forget how big their giant, awesome TV is, but I've seen it in person. It's like 80 inches. It's beautiful. It's insane. But it's like 55 minutes of that, and then 5 minutes of, oh yeah, we have these phones.
Yeah, I live blogged a good hour and a half of washers and fridges and showers and other stuff at the Samsung International Press Conference at IFA.
That's really not a knock on the manufacturers. That's the way these events are. Mobile World Congress is mobile. The individual events are what they are. But CES is consumer electronics, and it still is. And we tend to think of life in terms of phones, especially around here, and I get that. But there was nothing in that video to say smartphone at all. And for the blogs, and I'm not going to call them out by name because, frankly, they don't deserve the link love for coming up with that crap. But it's no. Absolutely not. Maybe Mobile World Congress. Maybe. I'm thinking later.
I wouldn't rule out MWC. I think Samsung is going to get a lot more bang for their buck if they do a separate event.
Yes.
I think they know that, and I think they will.
God, I mean, they got me to fly to London, and you and I did like 30 posts in 24 hours.
Yeah.
We're not going to do that much at MWC when we have other things to do for other manufacturers, and I think they know that.
Sure.
That makes sense. And honestly, I'd like to go to London again. It's not too much trouble.
I'm curious. Maybe this year at CES, we might see a little bit more mobile from Samsung because they're starting to make real money in mobile.
Yeah.
I'm thinking maybe tablets. It's been, the Tab range is due a refresh, I think, and maybe we might see some of that there.
Yeah,
maybe. We could. But that's a guess. We don't know anything about that.
I think I agree with Sasha Sagan from PC Mag. Probably tablets in Barcelona at the end of February at MWC, and then something late March or hopefully early May. We talked about it last week for tablet or for the next phone. So that's what I think.
I wonder if Samsung is going to make their take on the Nexus 10. That'll be interesting to see that internal hardware and screen with Samsung's touches.
What do you guys think of these 6.3 inch whatever rumors?
I think we're far too that if there is a Note 3, and I think probably there will be, the Note 2's been a big enough success. We're 10 months away from the Note 3.
Yeah.
Anything to do with specs or anything supposedly coming from suppliers is probably not going to be anywhere near what we actually get, or it's going to be at best someone's best guess or speculation or whatever. The other side of that is a 6.3 inch phone is ridiculous.
Yeah, it is.
Right. You know what I think they'll probably end up doing is you look at whatever screen technology you can squeeze into 7 inches today, and then 10 months from now, how small can you get it? And that's what size it'll be, because they're going to want 1080p, Super AMOLED plus HD if they can get it. And if they can get that in 6 inches, 6.5 inches, I can see them making a Note 3 that's that big. If they can't, they probably won't go bigger than they are now.
Yeah, and if they do that, they're going to have to get rid of every single bit of bezel around the screen, and that's going to be perhaps a bit dangerous from a sort of structural perspective, because what happens when you drop it? You're leaving very little, very small buffer between, and also where do you put the buttons if you're going to have buttons? You're basically just going to have to have such a minimal device that it's going to be really difficult to engineer.
I can see the Note working itself into the 1080p around 6 inch somewhere RGB AMOLED plus 3D phone. I
3D?
think Samsung would love to just tackle everything they have in screen technology into it. You can shut the 3D off if you don't like it, but I really think that's a showcase for their screen tech is why they're doing it, and it works. It looks beautiful.
Yeah. All right, I'm going to stop us because we have a bunch of really good voicemails to go through, and I want to go through them. We have like 8, but they're all really good. So let's just do them. I don't even have any emails done tonight, so if you sent any in the past week, give us a minute. We might even do something special with them. We'll see. But tonight, voicemails only. So, Renee, if we are ready, let's start with Aaron.
Hey guys, it's Aaron from Champaign. This is messages for the Android Central podcast. I was just calling in since you're in such a giving mood with the holidays coming up and all. I wouldn't mind taking one of those inductive charging backplanes for the Galaxy S3. Figured it wouldn't hurt to ask. Shoot it down, it's fine. Want to give you one too? That'd be great. So love the show, guys, and have a great holiday season. Take care.
Done. Aaron, you're getting one. I've got a couple extra. So already.
I'm calling you right now. I need a car.
It's funny. And I need God. I'm sorry. I need to dig up the phone number from the other guy who I said I'd give one to, because I've got one for you. If you're out there, email me. Phil@androidcentral.com. But it's funny. So when we get voicemails, I see the phone number and I can text message people back. So and they're like, "Oh my God, it's Philly!" It's so cool. It's like, oh crap! Now they have my phone number. But it's fun. So yes, Aaron, you got one. It's in the mail. Will be tomorrow. So cool. All right, let's do. I believe it's Ian B. I couldn't quite understand. So here we go.
Guys, this is Ian B. from the forums, and I have a question regarding the Nexus 4. I have an order which will be here in about 6 or 7 weeks, which will be the end of January. And I have terminated my service with Sprint, which will close the account on January the 7th. So I won't have the phone by the time I close the account. But I'm trying to figure out how to port it out. Do I port it to Google Voice? And what are the advantages and disadvantages of doing that? Versus going ahead and getting a T-Mobile or Straight Talk AT&T SIM card and porting the phone over to either one of those before I even get the phone. Love your podcast, and man, I've learned so much from you guys. I really appreciate any help you can give me. Thanks.
Jerry, did you port a phone number to Google Voice or no?
Yeah, I ported my phone number to Google Voice, and works great for me. This is a tough one, though. I mean, if you know which type of Straight Talk SIM you're going to use, if you've already tested T-Mobile and AT&T and know which one is going to work great, I would say port your number over to Straight Talk. I think once you port it to Google Voice, it's stuck there. I don't think you can port it back out, is why I'm saying that. Google Voice is not the best answer for everybody, especially if you like to do a lot of texting. I'll be honest with you, the application for Android really sucks. They're working on it. It gets better every time, but it's nowhere near as robust as the built-in client. You can't do MMS, and all the perks you get from using it on Sprint will go away once you're not on Sprint, and you'll be stuck with the same Google Voice app that I've got, and you might not be happy. So you don't want to get your number stuck to it. I would really recommend you go with Straight Talk if you know which SIM you're going to buy.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I mean, flexibility is always better than not. So that's what
I have nothing to add.
They still don't have Google Voice in the UK, do they, Alex?
We don't, and it would make things really useful for people like me who juggle a lot of phones around.
Right.
So it's, I mean, on the other hand, I think the way things work over there with the infrastructure and the rules about phone lines and phone numbers, it's completely different over here. So it wouldn't work the way it would over there anyway. So it's just a kind of a mess. So I don't think we ever will get it, really.
It works great here. All right, let's move on to Eric.
Hey, this is Eric, or Shepherd Wood from the forums. I'm looking to get a TV for our spare room at home, and we've slowly gotten to the point where we get all of our TV via Netflix, Hulu Plus, and the internet. What I'm looking to do is get a cheap TV and add on a streaming media box, ideally some sort of Google TV box. But I'm worried that there's nothing out there that's worth my money. Am I wrong, or should I just get a Roku and be done with it? Thanks for the help.
If you're unsure, I would recommend Roku. I think for the money, for $50, it's kind of hard to beat right now.
As much as I hate to say it, you're right.
Yeah, I mean Google TV just Jerry, what Google TV hardware would you actually recommend to anybody at this point?
The Sony Internet player seems to work the best out of any I've tried.
Right.
It's also $300 freaking dollars.
Right, exactly. And if all you want is, Roku does YouTube, right? I think.
I do believe so. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that Netflix, Amazon. I mean, Roku does it. My grandparents used Roku. They're 86.
I just know if you're going to spend $300 for a set-top box, you're almost better off going to Best Buy and buying that cheap Toshiba laptop with an HDMI output and a wireless keyboard. And you'll have everything you want.
Or an Xbox.
Right. I mean,
yeah.
I just can't recommend Google TV, and that hurts me because I love it. I geek out with it, but that's because I geek out with it. For the normal consumer, it's just not there yet.
Yeah. All right, on to Jim.
Hi, this is Jim from Jersey, calling for the Android Central podcast. Quick question for you. I recently upgraded to the GS3. I had two questions concerning the device. One, I can't seem to find the volume setting on it. Every time you plug in the headphones, it automatically goes to half volume. Is there some way to disable that? And two, when it was initially released, it was supposed to have a companion MP3 Pebble thing. Whatever happened with that? Love the show, and guys, get ready to sing because here comes my email, JIM@gmail.com. Thanks, love the show. Talk to you soon.
That's right. That's what happens when you mess with the bull. You get the horns. Funny little sound. So here's what happened to the S Pebble. Holding it in our hand. Talked about it already. There you go. So that's available now. First part of the question.
The volume thing, it's just save your ears, man. Just either root and get rid of it or just bump the volume up like I do after you plug it in.
I mean, it's to protect you from putting in earbuds with it at full blast, and I get that. That's a good thing. I'm not gonna, knock anybody for that. I think. Nope. All right, on to Kyle.
Hello, this is Kyle calling for the Android Central podcast number 119. I was just wondering if I should expect any deals on the Droid DNA come this Christmas. My mom really wants to get it with her next upgrade, which is coming just a couple of days after the new year. She would like to get the Droid DNA, but it's a little out of our price range right now. Any help is appreciated. Thanks.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I kind of see maybe a deal after Christmas.
Yeah, I'd say keep an eye on Amazon and stuff too.
Yeah, it was $50 off on Amazon a while back.
I mean, honestly, we don't do all that many like deal alerts or whatever because there's so many, and I kind of think we have better things to do. I mean, just look at Amazon, look at Verizon, check like Walmart, AT&T. Not AT&T for the DNA, but just wherever you would normally buy one of those phones, just check them every now and then. And there are websites out there that do worry about those deals a little more than we do. They're just so hit and miss, and here 1 minute and gone the next.
And the DNA, I mean, it's Verizon's new hotness. I really don't see it getting very much on sale before Christmas. That would kind of defeat the purpose.
Alex is going to get to use it at CES.
Yep, I'll have it for a week. Should be interesting. What do we decide about the 5-inch screen?
I like it.
Too big?
It's a little physically, it's a little too big for me, but I have really small hands, so you might be fine with it. Alex has huge man hands. Very manly. All right, on to Mel.
Hey guys, Mel from the Midwest. Just listen to the last podcast, guys and gals. It was awesome. On Sprint, about to upgrade. I was going to really wait till LTE came to my city, but I don't know, I'm getting too itchy. And I'm probably thinking about getting the Galaxy S3 because it's got the most accessories, including an extended battery. So the question is this. I listen to your podcast and many others on iTunes, and I do that because you can play it at twice the speed. You guys are good, but in my mind, there's too many gaps between words. So is there a podcast player available in Android that will do that? That will be a great piece of information. The next thing is, if there is, which podcatcher will keep everything up to date? Because last time I did one was a couple of years ago, and I'd already had all these podcasts downloaded on iTunes, and they did not even appear. And I think I used Google Reader or something like that. So, great podcast. Keep up the good work. All kinds of exciting stuff. And can't wait to hear you guys again. But you got to speak faster. See you, bye.
I use Pocket Casts. That's all I use now. Does it play double speed? I don't remember. Let's find out.
I use Dogcatcher, and it plays double speed, but it's also does a lot of other things that I don't care for. So I'm going to have to look for another one myself.
Beyond Pod is another good one. I mean, it's been good for a long time, and I forget why I stopped using it. But definitely worth checking out as well. Alex, do you listen to podcasts? Do you listen to our podcast? Do you listen to our podcast after?
I'm listening to your podcast right now, Phil.
Yeah.
I used to use Dogcatcher back in the day, but I don't tend to listen to a whole lot of podcasts recently. So Dogcatcher was good. I'm not sure how that's changed recently, though.
Pocket. All right, so Pocket Cast, it looks like you have to buy this extra thing called Presto that will let you adjust the playback speed. So if you want to try Pocket Casts, you can do it with that. And actually, I think, hey, Renee, I'm going to be on a podcast Monday with one of the Pocket Cast guys, right?
Yeah, with Russell Ivanovic, who is Shifty Jelly.
Awesome. So look for that, by the way. So, no, there are lots of options out there. All right. Another return customer, Onyx.
Hey, my name is Tom, calling for the Android Central podcast.
What's up?
Just letting you guys know, during your December 10th podcast, you guys got a phone call regarding the mouse lock card in Google Now. Just was listening to it today and noticed that it actually does still exist. It popped up for me today, which is the 8th of December, the day after your podcast. Just giving you guys a heads up, it's still there.
Yep, it's back. It's actually kind of official now, right? One of those latter updates that we just got.
Yeah, they threw in a privacy notice and make you click OK now to let you know that they're stalking you when you walk.
It's still a little creepy, right?
Hey, Google Now is creepy altogether, or it's not.
That's true.
It's nothing little about it. I think it's worth it, so I let Google follow every damn thing I do. They give me cool stuff in return. So,
all right. Did I screw these up, Renee? Do we have Onyx?
Hey, this is Onyx Black from the Android Central forums, and this is for the Android Central podcast. I have a question about Google's new implementation of Google Plus reviews on the Google Play Store. I don't have too big of a problem with this, but the issue that I'm having right now is that though I have a Google Plus account and the Google Plus account is connected to my phone and everything's perfectly fine, while I'm on the Google Play Store and I leave reviews, which I like doing to all apps really, it doesn't show me as my Google Plus user person. Like it doesn't show anything. It just says a Google user, and it hasn't stopped doing that since the Google implementation. I don't know how to make it so that it connects to my Google Plus account, so it could show who I am, because I have no problem with backing up my review with my name, but it's just kind of frustrating that not seamlessly going through in the way that it should. If you guys know a way of doing it besides, just resetting the applications or something, then that'll be appreciated. Thanks, and keep doing a great podcast.
That sounds odd, and kind of my first thought was, well, are you looking at reviews that were left before they switched things over a couple weeks ago? Because those all show up as a Google user. But, I mean, it sounds like anything you're leaving now still says it. And that's, I don't know. I don't remember having to do anything. Do you guys?
No. I'm sitting here and I'm trying to look up real quick. I wonder if it's a privacy public setting in your Google Plus profile.
Maybe.
I mean, that's the first thing that popped into my head is maybe he's got his profile set up so nobody can see it, and Google's honoring those settings. But I'm not seeing anything on a quick Google search. And of course, all of ours, because of what we do, we have to keep everything public. So maybe that's it. But I mean, it's something I'll look into it because it's interesting. I love interesting.
I'm trying to look Google Play settings. It's just showing me stuff about devices and not reviews. It's a good question. If anybody knows, let us know. Let us know in the comments in the blog post for this, or call in. People have been really good about that lately, which is awesome. So cool. Those excellent voicemails, everybody. Kudos to all 8 of you, especially Aaron, for saying how awesome we were. I think definitely. So that's it. I think we're done. That was quite the show. Hey, by the way, I'm a little pissed off. iTunes put out its Best of 2012 awards, and we were not nominated as Best Android Podcast ever, anywhere.
They probably have a Post-it note saying that you have to fire me before iTunes says anything about Android Central. I don't think they like me.
I'm kidding. There were no Android Best ofs at all. And in fact, I just thought of it because John P. From Geekbeat TV just did a post on Google Plus saying, "Oh yeah, by the way, we're on there." So Leo Laporte for the Tech Guy, Geekbeat TV, which is John and Callie, awesome people. I got to spend a couple days with them about a year and a half ago in Detroit at that thing I went to, and Engadget. So that's awesome. So that post we did today was me joking. People were getting upset. It's like, guys, I was being sarcastic. Anyone who's ever met Tim Stevens from Engadget knows he's the nicest damn guy you've ever met. John and Callie are awesome, and Renee goes on Leo's shows and has nothing but good things to say about them. So that was me being funny toward Apple. So let's get over it. If you want to email us, and I promise we're getting to the emails again next week, probably, do so at podcast@androidcentral.com. You can get us on Twitter at AndroidCentral, at Phil Nickinson, at GBHIL, at Alex Dovey. But Google Plus is the place to do it, people. Twitter is so... we talked about it a minute ago. I'm down on Twitter. Can I quit Twitter now? Can I quit?
Can I?
Can I quit Twitter? I think you can.
Oh, you told me before I wasn't allowed to. You told me you drive to West Virginia and do things that I can't mention.
You can probably do it. My problem is we have 170,000 followers on the AC account. I'm kind of stuck there.
Well, I can still keep the AC account. You know, can still look at that every once in a while. But
we should vote and see if Jerry should take over the Android Central Twitter account for me. Never mind. We'll talk about that later. As we are every week, we are brought to you by shopandroid.com. You can call them at 888-468-6158. That's 888-468-6158 or shopandroid.com. New stuff all the time. Some new GS3 stuff, Galaxy Note 2 stuff still coming in. I just saw this week we have new Lloyd stickers. If you haven't gotten any of those yet, they're like 95 cents, so buy them if you're buying something else. I wonder if they'll ship them to you if I try to order like one. I'll have to try that. See if I can just call from vendors. That'd be funny. And if you want to do like Aaron and Ian B and Eric and Jim and Kyle and Mel and Onyx and Tom, leave us a voicemail. You can call 888-468-6158 and hit extension 222. Or you can record it on your computer and email it in, because that works too and generally sounds better. So, Jerry, Alex, thank you. Hey, by the way, offline here in like 2 minutes, we're going to give away 2 of these S Pebbles, because I have one that I took out of the box and I have another one in a box. So we're going to give them both away. So stay tuned for that. That's why you should listen to the live show, people. Jerry, Alex, thank you. Chat room, thank you guys. Chat room's awesome as always. That was my 3-year-old wave bye-bye until I have kids. Kids are more regal. I'll wave like this. That's it. We're out.
Good night, folks.